On a usual day in Lagos, March 2019, something unusual caught the attention of Lagosians. Half-naked young men stood on the side of the road in different high-traffic areas of the state, wearing nothing but socks, boxers, and a note that read, "Avoid the shame of sea finish." Days later, the same young men appeared again on the same spot, but this time they were fully clothed and had on another note that says that they have been fully covered by Leadway Assurance. Almost immediately, a full-blown 360 campaign was launched, still communicating the message, "Avoid the shame of sea finish." Sea finish is a Nigerian slang that means being in a state of losing self-respect and regard. Anyone in this state is exposed to insults and ridicule, which is exactly what happens when you don't have enough resources to take care of your responsibilities in case of an unexpected event like death. So this campaign was actually used to drive awareness for Leadway Assurance Family Benefit Plan Plus, which covers things like funeral expenses. It is such a brilliant campaign from advertising agency Leadway. Arguably, it's one of the best insurance campaigns from Nigeria. But how did it impact the company's bottom line? Was the budget worth the campaign? Did the brand really achieve her campaign goals? These and more will be answered by
Leadway Assurance,
exclusively on Live with Linda. Hello. Hello. So, hi. Good. Hi. Good afternoon. How are you?
Thank you. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. I'm so happy we have similar headways like we planned
We
it.
do.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to meet you
Can you hear me?
finally.
Oh, same here. I'm glad to meet you too.
Yes.
All right, so please give us a brief introduction about yourself before we go into the interview proper.
Okay. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I can. Yeah, just a bit of a delay, but I can hear you.
Okay. So I have responsibility for corporate communications at Leadway. I mean, obviously,
Okay.
corporate comms, it's everything that has to do with corporate comms, advertising, branding,
Okay.
image making, overseeing digital marketing, the whole shebang, everything that has to do with it. It's a lot of work, but it's fun, and I have an amazing team.
I know.
They make it easy. I mean, I could not do this without my team. I think I'll literally just die if I didn't have them. But they make it easy. So, yeah.
Oh, great. So how long have you been at Leadway?
Sweetie, long enough. I mean, I've been at Leadway for over 10 years, and it's been an exciting journey. I've worked in different departments, on the writing, marketing, commercial. At some point, there was a brief startup idea that we had, a partnership that we had with the Honda Place some years back, where we would walk up to people that were buying cars and introduce our policies, our insurance policies to them, and they would pick up a cover right there and then. I was part of that. A bit of direct business, Leadway Direct. I've been around.
You know, we have about 22 insurance companies in Nigeria. So if you were to rank Leadway amongst the leading insurance companies in Nigeria, how would you rank it?
Well, so the way the insurance industry works, okay, you want to look at ranking for different on different bases. Are you leading in terms of motor insurance, for instance? First of all, let's be clear. Leadway is a composite insurance company, and what that means is that we underwrite both general insurance and life assurance policies. Okay, so and if you picked up a copy of the Nigerian Insurance Digest, it's the digest, the journal that is prepared by the Nigerian Insurance Association, you would see that companies rank differently for different classes of business. Okay, But I think the easiest one for the purposes of this interview would be to look at the tier-based categorization that NICOM was going to do last year. Before that was then scuttled, and then the recapitalization bit came up. So then it was going to be in tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and depending on certain criteria, you would be, on either of those tiers. Leadway, as at that time, was and still is a tier 1 company. So, I mean, it gives us the opportunity to underwrite any class of business with any, standard of risk, obviously according to the terms and conditions. So that would be the easiest way, but it would be a disservice if you say, if you now want to start ranking, okay, who is number 1, who is number 2. I could sit here and tell you, yes, we are but practically you want to look at, you want to break it down to is and was, and look at it specifically on depending on the kind of interest that you have, So what might be number 1, depending on the category you're looking at, might not be number 1 on other categories, But we have quite a few points working for us. So.
Okay, great. So I think that's one of the things I'd like to know is what differentiates you from other brands. I'd like to know more about that.
Okay, so
what would you say? What would
selling points. I think one of the biggest things that sells Leadway is our asset base. Okay, as at now we're over 300 billion in terms of asset base. That makes us one of the strongest financial asset base companies in Nigeria. In terms of keeping our promises to our policy holders, I mean, the taste of the food of the pudding is in the eating, and essentially, you only know the value of your policy when a claim happens. So if you have an insurance company that can promise you that you will get your claims paid, that's where you want to stay, regardless of the size of the risk that you're bringing. That is what you want. In the last, we've consistently paid in the last 5 years the highest claims payment for any insurance company in Nigeria, and these are facts that are verifiable. So, and even in the last year alone, we paid over 38 billion. So, I mean, that's value. That's value. We're very focused on being digitally driven. That's important because especially in these days of COVID-19, everything is online now. We're meeting online. I've never met you physically. This is the first time we're meeting, and it's online. So everything is digitally driven. And when it's digitally driven, it makes things easier for people to access. Every day we're realizing the fact that our competition is not just the next insurance company, but it's actually the last experience that the customer had, that you had. So it's the last online engagement that you had that we're competing against. Are we making it easy for our customers to access our products? Are we making it easy for them to call us with their complaints? Are we making it easy for them? Is it as easy as the experience they have with other suppliers that they meet? Whether that supplier is supplying them fish, meat, or bringing them their bags when they order it in time, all of that. So we understand that and are investing very heavily in being a digital first organization. We are not there yet. There's so much room to grow in that aspect, but it's definitely something that is driving us at this time.
Okay, I think that also tells me a bit about your target audience. You are actually more focused on people that are digitally inclined, but I think we need more information about that before we move over to discussing the campaign proper. So please tell us, who are your targets? Give us a brief profile of your top customers, before we move over to discussing the campaign of last year.
Okay, so traditionally, Leadway has been a broker-based business, broker-driven. So by broker-driven, I mean that a lot of our business came in through third-party intermediaries, whether they're brokers or agents, and those ones will typically bring in corporate businesses to us. And the foundation of the business was based on corporate business. But in recent times, and I'm talking as recent as the last 5-10 years, that focus is changing because the corporates have to do business. The corporates have to do insurance, but
yes,
there's a whole new market that is retail. A whole new market, and the telcos have tapped into the retail market. 50 naira airtime,
they have
100 naira airtime. And if you collect 100 naira airtime from 1 billion people, that's a lot of money, girl. That's a whole lot of money. So we're trying to find a way, different ways to tap into that, the retail market, and be able to capture it. And it's no gain saying that insurance penetration in Nigeria is still less than 1%. And the reason it's less than that is because the more people that are doing insurance are the corporates. We don't have enough retail people doing insurance, even with the fact that there are insurances that are compulsory. You get what I mean? So that's got to change, and the only way that will change is when we get into the retail market, which is why that is our focus.
Okay, great. So that gives me a bit of understanding. At least I'm getting to understand why you did your Steve Finish campaign last year, because that was definitely driven by the retail market, right? It was really an attention grab. Well done. It was a nice idea, the Steve Finish campaign. But we know that we know that great briefs is what begets great ideas sometimes. So for you to be able to get something interesting and nice out of your agency, you need to have been able to brief them properly. So I'd like to know what actually informed the Steve Finish campaign. What did you brief your agency to make them come up with that kind of idea? What was the goal of the campaign? Yeah.
First of all, the Steve Finish campaign was, thank you very much for the accolades. Thank you. The Steve Finish campaign was focused on our product, the Family Benefit Plan Plus. Okay. We had initially had the Family Benefit Plan, and we now relaunched it as the Family Benefit Plan Plus. It was a coming back into the market, a reintroduction into the market, a reawareness of that policy, because we needed it to sell. Now, the Family Benefit Plan Plus is essentially a funeral plan. That's what it is in a nutshell. For me not to go into all the nitty-gritty of insurance jargon, just to break it down in simple terms. So essentially what it is you take up the plan, you put in the names of your your old age loved ones, and you pay the premium for a particular time, 5 years. You choose the band you want, you pay the premium for about 5 years, and after you pay the premium for 5 years, you stop paying premium. Whenever any eventuality happens, and it will happen, I mean, the prayer is that we live longer than our aged parents or older ones. Whenever any eventuality happens, the money is counted for you. Go and do whatever it is you need to do with, to bury them and take up the funeral expenses and whatever. And we are a society that does the celebration of life thing. You want to give your aged ones, your parents, a befitting burial, and it's a thing of stigma, shame, if you like, if you're unable to give them a befitting burial because you don't have money, or because you now have to, and a lot of people have to go around borrowing to be able to do that, and that borrowing becomes a Steve Finish matter. Last time you came to borrow money for school fees. The other time you came to borrow money for this. Now your parents have died. What is it? Now only you. So that was the idea that informed the campaign. Like, avoid the shame of Steve Finish. Don't let them see you finish. If you have a cover that takes care of this sort of thing, when it happens, Leadway Alpha, Male don't die, or Pale don't die. Oh yeah, bring the money. You just collect. See, Linda, if God forbid, God forbid,
it's really that easy, right?
Dies, passes away, and someone just counts a cool 1 million and gives you to say, go and do burial expenses. Have you not tried? You've tried now. So that was the whole idea of
Yeah.
the campaign, just to make it easy for us to do that. Now, nobody prays that they are to lose their old loved ones, their moms, their aged moms or dads. Nobody prays that it happens. But the truth about it is a reality that will happen someday. And the prayer is that when it does happen, I can bury them in style. I can give them the kind of burial that they will, from heaven, they will be proud to say, that is my daughter. At least that is what our culture and society believes. So that's what drove the See Finish campaign.
Okay, that's interesting. So the campaign was, you guys used the campaign to actually own that segment, because I'm sure other insurance companies also offer this package, right? Or is it just the Leadway
Not that I'm
assurance
aware
thing?
of, Linda.
No.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I'm yet. If you found anyone,
but
please feel free to let me know. But I'm not aware of any other company that offers a funeral policy.
Oh, great! So it's unique to you, and with this campaign, you've been able to own that space. So that's actually
we like
amazing.
To think so.
Like I said, like I said, it was a very nice idea, but we also know that idea alone cannot make a campaign successful. The execution of the campaign is also important. So before we move to talking about the effectiveness of the campaign, let's talk about how it was handled. Were you satisfied with the way your agency executed the 360 campaign for See Finish?
The short answer is yes. The long answer is they were the lead. Leo Burnett, as you're aware, as our agency, was the lead agency. But it's also, they also have to pull in other agencies to handle different sides of it. Digital, PR, the outdoor, all of that. And they did a good job bringing them all together to create the campaign that is that became our See Finish campaign. And there were even parts of it that won laurels. I mean, there were some agencies that won the best PR campaign. It won best PR campaign. You talked about it on your page. I was very excited when I saw that.
Yeah.
You know, it trended. It trended. The week it broke, it trended. And one of the things that excited me was the fact that nobody knew it was an insurance company that was running it. No one had.
Yes, when it first started.
And I think we got that right. And kudos to everyone who supported to put that together.
Okay, great. I remember, now that you're talking about it, I remember that one of the little concerns I had then was that the pre-campaign activation you didn't give enough room for the campaign to catch on, for it to trend before the main campaign was launched. I don't know if you felt that too, because one minute the guys were on the street and the next minute, it's an insurance company. So I was thinking maybe you could have given it a bit of time, for it to catch up on social media very well before the unveil. Didn't you think so too?
Well, there was. Now that you mention it, perhaps, but then you should also be aware that there's also the financial aspect of it. Okay, to be able to run that, you have to spend a bit more. And right now,
I knew that was the problem.
It's one of the reasons why, for instance, there's more of a diversion towards digital marketing than, take for instance, outdoor.
Traditional.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So outdoor, people will see it. They'll know that you are there. But at the end of the day, when you go back in and you're facing your board of directors and they're asking you, you spent X amount on TV and radio and outdoor. How much came in as a result of it? Yes, you will talk about it, and you will talk about visibility. Your net promoter score was increased by 35%. They'll calculate that and compare it to the bottom line and what is coming in as a result of that. So you have to find balance. You know what I mean? You have to find balance.
Yeah.
Just enough visibility to get the idea out there, and then you close it. It's short, it's sharp, it's sweet. But it spread over, like, it was over a week. It was about a week spread before we had the men coming covered, and then we did it in various. We did it in various locations also. We did it in various locations so that people passing in Lekki, people on the Kurudu Road, people at Allen would see it before they break. And then we now did the break in also various locations. So I think we're able to catch the attention of people that we needed to catch.
The attention.
And then another thing also is you also don't want to spread it too thin so that you lose that momentum. You don't want to do that also.
Of course. Everything has to be really, really planned, you know. So, but it was just a thought I had then. I felt maybe it would. I didn't even know it would lasted a week. I thought it was like 2 days. You know, the guys were on the street 2 days, and the next
because
day,
they were in different. They were in different places.
In different locations. Yes. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, all right, cool. So now to the $1 million question. You've answered it a bit, but I'd like to hear it from your mouth. Was the campaign effective?
So remember that I told you that the campaign relaunched the Family Benefit Plan Plus. Already done a family benefit. We had already had a family benefit plan. That was about 3-4 years ago. So we did a brief launch then. We had a proper launch in the office. We had pressmen come in. We launched the product. It was novel. It was exciting and all of that. And we did all the press shebang about it. But because it needed to, so the product itself had like a slump. But because we needed to revive it and revamp it, we repackaged it, you know, gave more incentives for it. And now decided to use food soldiers to sell it. You know, because insurance as a product itself needs to be explained. Yeah. Which is why part of our strategy as an insurance company is doing a lot of education. Now, the downside of doing that is that we end up doing education for the entire industry, because I can count on one hand the number of insurance companies that are actively advertising, that are actively educating. You get what I mean? So if I educate you and tell you that your third party, 5,000 naira third party cover, on that you can actually get up to for a third party that gets hurt. You know, people think that the 5,000 naira motor insurance, for instance, is just police let me pass. No, if you have it from a proper certified insurance company, anyone that is obviously for the third party can get up to 1 million naira in damages. You understand? If he makes a claim, if people understand that, then they know that they can actually claim on their third party. But I digress. So the essence of the campaign was to relaunch the Family Benefit Plan Plus, to tell people that we've done it so that you can actually only just pay, you only need to pay for a period and then you stop paying premium. And then, you know, whenever any eventuality happens, you're covered. It was to get people enlightened about it, to educate, to teach them, and to present the idea of death in a not so serious matter. So people think that if you prepare and plan for death, it means you're inviting death to come. You know, I know people that I have spoken to.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know people that I have spoken to, or we try to introduce the Family Benefit Plan Plus to them, and the husband thinks it's a fantastic idea. The wife goes, "You want to kill my mother? You want my mother to die young? God will not allow. It will not clinical. It's no." The truth about it is, all of us want to be able to live longer than our aged ones, and you want to be ready.
Of course.
You don't want to have to go and, you know, break your bonds or sell your house or sell property. You don't want to see finish when the eventuality happens. You get what you want. You have paid premium. You're prepared. Whenever it happens, it happens. you know. So that is what you want, and that's what we sought to do with the campaign. Educate, get people to know about it. We had, 50 million impressions. We had, it trended, it won awards, people got to know about it. I had people walk up to me to say, Shebi, you will see me finish now. You will see me finish now. I had people walk up to me to say that to me, you know. So it definitely got the awareness. And compared to the previous launch, you know, the agents had a bigger drive to go talk to people because they are now aware of it. They've now seen it. It's something that's sticking with the psyche, and that's what we sought to do.
Great. So from what you're saying, it seems you were very, very satisfied and happy with the campaign. Great. So one last question. First of all, let me commend you. I think you guys are doing well with your marketing. And I hear you when you said something about you are being you are being digitally driven. I can attest to that because Google Leadway Insurance right now, or list of insurance companies in Nigeria, and Leadway Assurance is the first company that pops up. So I can see you guys are doing, you're doing a lot, even though your company is privately owned, you're doing a lot to actually own the space, and it's good. And I've also learned today that the funeral plan is only specific, it's proprietary to Leadway Assurance. I didn't know other, which shows me that you guys are you're really people focused, because you understand the problems that people have, and because of that you are able to develop products and then campaigns that can actually really effectively reach them. So I really must commend you for that. The term "see finish," was it from you or was it from the agency? It was from the agency, right?
I think it was from the agency. Yes, it was from the agency. Yeah, it was from the agency.
Great. Yeah, so it seems like a perfect match, you know.
It did.
You coming up with products that you coming up with products that are very, very important to the target, and then the agency looking for very good ways to communicate it in the language that the target audience can understand. So that's very, very good. Yeah. So is there any other blockbuster campaign in the works that we should be looking out for?
Linda, you want me to be talking trade secrets online? Yeah. No. Let's not talk trade secrets online. My competition is watching. I can definitely assure you that we have a few things up our sleeve. We'll begin to dear, but don't let me let the cat out of the
bag. Okay, so it's enough for me to know that you have something in the works, and I hope that it's also as good as this. You already have a standard, a huge, standard that you've created. So I'm hoping that you're going to top it up. So I'm going to be watching out for your next campaign. But amen. All right. So, but I also have a question about the general perception of the insurance. I think you touched it a bit, but maybe I want to ask about it. There's this. First of all, insurance is about protecting oneself, Abi. Yes. Protecting your family, protecting your business against financial, important to you, against financial loss. Yeah. So, but there's this perception in Nigeria that people don't actually like investing in insurance. Is that true?
Yes, unfortunately. I mean, the fact that we even have the penetration in Nigeria is less than 1%. It's still less than 1%. Is
crazy.
Evidence enough that it's evidence enough that people don't like to do insurance. Let me even ask, do you have insurance? Apart from your motor insurance, Linda, do you have insurance?
I'm not gonna lie, no.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to find you after because come and do insurance. So I think it's a societal thing, right? It's a societal thing. It's just that idea of it's either the religious thing, Jesus is my protector, or the religious thing in the sense if it happens, it happens. That's or Are you trying to?
Sometimes it's just like, okay, or this is money I can use for something else. I don't even know what's going to happen. What if it doesn't happen?
It's also disposable income. You know, how much money?
Yeah.
How much money is the average Nigerian making? Which is why one of the things that we're also trying to do is get micro insurance products that are not so expensive. Money that you can use for charge, for airtime, money that you will use for airtime anyway, or to take a chick out to Mr. Biggs, or where are the new joints that they're hanging out now for lunch or for dinner, to go and toast babe. Money that I can use to buy food. So 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, those micro insurance products that will not cost you too much to invest in. You understand what I mean? So that's why we're trying to do that, because disposable not as much, and it's not in the developing countries where you necessarily have to have. You can't do anything without insurance in developed countries. You can't buy a house. You can't rent a house. You can't drive a car. You can't do anything if you don't have insurance. Insurance is necessarily part of everything that you're doing. You get, but here there's not much. Are you going to go ask the Danfo driver to come and do insurance? You know, unless
could it be because we don't? Maybe because. Could it be because Nigerians don't trust the insurance company? Could it be that it's because they don't feel like they will?
There's also that, because historically, people have had really horrible experiences with insurance and insurance. Okay. But that has changed. You know, right now you can't even you dare not pay somebody's claim. You can't. They're going to take you to the cleaners. They'll report you to the NIA. They'll report you to NICOM, which is why we're doing a lot of sensitization to say, look, it's not used to be. And we're trying to use a lot more testimonials of people that have had good experiences with insurance and can testify to the fact that they pay claims, they're going to be there for you. One of the things that we do every year is to put out a claims, and our claims ad basically says, look, we've paid this amount of claims. You don't have to worry. Our word is our bond. We need to rebuild that trust. But you even find educated people that will tell you, insurance, I don't believe in it. But you go outside the country and go and do insurance there.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? So it's just a perception change. And we're hoping that with adverts like the See Finish campaign, we can begin to build that trust back and just encourage people to see the goodness in doing it, so that you can reap the benefits. And of course, you find, you know, a trusted insurance company to do it with.
Okay. Doris is saying hi. She was one of the actors in your last See Finish TVC. She's saying hi. Okay, so everybody go. Yeah, she was. Okay, so Maria is saying that Leadway is spot on when it comes to claims payment. So Maria. I guess she's testifying.
Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Good. So please, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the questions tab below. We are rounding up soon so that we Mrs. Olubunmi can answer your questions before we go.
Linda, don't mind my father.
All right, so I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Okay, before I ask that question, Chibet is asking.
We have an area office office.
Chibet is asking if you have a branch in PA.
Number 8 in Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt. Do you have a branch in Port Harcourt?
You'll find our branches there. I could, if you leave us a message, if you DM us, we can send you the address and the contact of the branch manager and all of that. But it's at number 8 Igbodo Road. That's one I remember.
Okay, great. I think he has heard you. All right, so now worldwide, I think the biggest insurance payout ever is about $22 trillion. Yes, I think that was what they paid for the 2008 financial. No, I mean what? Of course not. It's not Nigeria. No, in the world. That is the biggest insurance claim payout in the world.
It's difficult to say.
So I'd like to know
that
yours. What is your biggest insurance payout ever?
The first, funny enough, it was a marine claim that gave us our first break in 1981. That was when, it was actually that before that brought us to the insurance industry that made people begin to take that claim. That was we paid the claim in the sum of $1 million. It was a marine claim.
Okay.
It was a marine claim. And then we paid about, in dollars, $1 million. But in the last 5 years, we've paid over 136 billion naira.
$1 million.
So, and consistently, we've just been the highest claim paying in Nigeria. In terms of claims, we've paid the highest. Because I think it's also a function of the fact that we do a lot of oil and gas policies. We do aviation policies, and these are typically big ticket risks. Okay, and if you do big ticket risks, you also need to be ready to pay big ticket claims. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, and it helps that we have the backing of a lot of very strong reinsurance backing from Munich Re and Swiss Re that have over 100 years experience in the reinsurance business. So when you have a backbone like that, you can literally take on anything. Thank you.
Okay, great. $1 million. I can remember that one. Okay, so someone is asking, hello, what was the percentage increase in policyholders of the plan as a result of the sea finish campaign? Is that a question you can answer right now?
Policies?
Yeah, you can see it,
right? It will also be in terms of other policies. And it's a bit difficult to say because you don't know who came in as a result of what. You get what I mean? You know, I know that we increased our increase in followers jumped from, on different platforms. We saw at least like a 10-15% increase on followership on our different platforms as a result of it. You know, but I will not be able to give you those numbers. I'm sorry.
Even though it's tied to the Family Benefit Plus plan,
yes,
like you said, when people hear C finish and then they see Leadway, it automatically clicks that, oh, okay, it's about insurance. No matter what the insurance is, it can be for personal business, it can be for anything. You just know that, okay, I just need to avoid the shame of C finish. So I need to go and get my insurance done. So exactly. So when you see C finish, Leadway comes to mind. So it's not just about that person. So it's actually it's a nice one. I'm very proud of you guys for that. And it's one of the reasons why I said I must have this interview, because I wanted to know what you feel, if you guys were impressed with the outcome of the campaign. So now I'm sure. So kudos to Leo Burnett and all the other activation agencies that were part of that campaign. All right, so before we go, I think you need to touch a little bit more about what you are doing to change the perception of investing in insurance in Nigeria. Apart from advertising campaigns, what other tactics are you using to address this issue?
We have a weekly page. We have a weekly page in 2 of the biggest papers in Nigeria where we just use it to educate about insurance. You would have seen we call it our Insuring Happiness page. And so that's one of the strong tools that we use to educate, to talk about different, and essentially what that is about is basically to take real life situation, what has happened outside.
Oh, great.
Like the last time we spoke on this week was about flood, you know, and just talking about how flood, you know, the rains are here, the meteorological department said we should expect about 270 days of rain this year, and 270 days of rain out of 355, that's the whole year gone. So we should essentially expect that 2/3 of this year we're gonna have rain. And if we're going to have rain in that amount, in that quantum, then you can expect flooding. And if flooding comes, it comes with all its attendant risk. You know, trees breaking, houses being damaged, whatnot. And we're saying, look, these are things that are realities. And the idea is, insurance is not just something, it's just a smart thing to do. It's not just something you just go and do when you have extra money. It's something that should be a lifestyle. It's something that with that education, we're trying to weave into a lifestyle. It's just a smart thing to do. The rains are here, get insurance. You know, so a lot of education, we're doing a lot of that. We're also meeting the customers where they are, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on Instagram, you know, making it easy for them to access the product. I mean, gone are the days where you have to fill, you know, a long litany of policy documents and all of that. We're also trying to break the language down into is and was. Break it down in a language that is everyday language that they can understand. Because another thing was how people felt they couldn't understand all the tiny scripts in insurance. No more. We're breaking it down. You know, we're working on an app. We're working on making it USSD friendly. We're working on all of that. You know, just to make it accessible.
Just work on making it easier for people to get access to their claims, because I think that's one of the problems we have. Like, it's always easy to invest in insurance, but when it comes to time, when the time comes for us to get our claims, then you have to fill this, you have to fill that, you have to bring your grandfather's this and your this, you know. So it's a bit of a problem.
One of the ways
it's a bit of a problem with getting your claims. So please work on that. I don't know how easy it was.
You understand what I mean? So it shouldn't be different platforms, and obviously you should not have to bring the eye of a female goat to be able to collect your claim. You understand what you mean? But another thing that would encourage people, is also to read their policy document, because people get very impatient when it's now time to claim. So read your policy document. The things that we request are really very simple things. And then there are also policies where there are no, you know, it's just all you need to bring are some very, very simple documents. If somebody has died, the person has died, bring the certificates of, you know, of death from the hospital or whatever. Bring the people that signed. There are some very, very simple things, but people are not patient enough to, you know, bring the documents that are required of them. You know, and then if there's an issue, simply escalate. There are so many avenues by which you can reach the organization. And like I said before, the trick of this is, are you better than the client's previous experience with purchasing anything? That is the competition to beat, not the insurance, not your fellow insurance companies. The competition is, are you better than their last experience? You know, are you better than that? And that's what we strive to do. Make the experience better than their last experience, wherever it was.
Amazing. I think if you go with that, you will not get it wrong. You will always continue to innovate to make things easier for your customers. And I think that's the way to go. So thank you very, very much. I actually had a nice time chatting with you today. Do you have any other thing you'd like to add before we close the session?
The lockdown has been lifted, but it doesn't mean that Corona is still not out there, okay? So my encouragement is, everyone be safe, practice social distancing. You know, if you don't have to go out, please don't go. And if you have to go out, you know, cover your mouth, wear your mask, you know, sanitize your hands, be safe. You know, I know that we might think that as Nigerians, you know, Africans, we have a natural predisposition to be stronger than the virus and all of that. But this thing is still very real, and it's taking out a lot of people, you know. And take an insurance policy. Protect the things you love, the ones you love.